Today I'm going to talk to you about 5-in-1 Builder Gel and why it's an amazing product and why it's one of my favourites. I'm going to go over how to encapsulate glitter, which is what I know people are very interested in, and I'm also going to show you how to do a baby boomer or French ombre, which I get asked about all the time, and the best way to do it is with a Builder Gel, so I'll show you my technique for doing that. So now we're going to do some encapsulating. So I've mixed up some really chunky glitter, lots of big chunky pieces in there, butterflies, stars, hearts, lovely. Give this now a bit of a buff. I've already pushed my cuticles back. A little wipe, prep and wipe. And then I'm going to start with a thin coat Builder Gel for my base. Cap the edge and cure that for 60. So now I've just got a bit of paper underneath to put the glitter on. And I'm going to do another coat on top. This is going to be to stick the glitter onto. So another sort of thin coat. So if you use a bit of paper, it means you can get it back in the bag afterwards. And this is just a eyeshadow brush, which I find is the best way. So you can sort of either just dip your nails straight in, like so, or use your brush just to sort of tap it on. Get the bits on the edges off. So I use a little dotting tool sometimes if I want to stick any bigger bits on. Just get that little butterfly on there. Just get a blob on your dotting tool, straight onto the nail, and then you can get those bigger bits like the butterflies on there. There we go, and then I'm just going to give that a cure for 60 seconds. I'm just going to fold that over and tip my glitter back in the pot. There we go. So there's the glitter nail. There we go, because it's really chunky. So what we're going to basically do is encapsulate it and build a gel. So again, doing the sort of floating technique. So just put a little bit on, sort of wiggle it on, get it all off the brush. Start in the middle, then go do your sides. It's like a big old blob in the centre, because that's where the glitter's at its thickest. Wipe any bits that get into the cuticle, and then hold it upside down for maybe like 5 seconds. And then I'm just going to pop that in. So I've cured that for 60 seconds and you can see it's self-leveled really nicely, no rough edges, but it probably will be a little bit bulbous. So I'm going to wipe off the sticky layer and I'm going to give it a little bit of a file and a buff. But actually there's no sharp edges, but if you did have some sharp edges, you just want to either do another layer, make it thicker, or take your file over it and buff off any of the sharp edges. So I'm just going to do my side walls and make this nail a little bit straighter. File around your cuticle a little bit. It's a bit bulky. So you want it to be flush to the cuticle, so it grows out nicely as well. And then going our same filing techniques as before. Taking the file around the nail. taper it down. Just going to give that a good old buff. Dust that off. Wipe, get all those little dust particles out. Oh, you can see like that is completely encapsulated. And I love it because it looks like it's under glass or water. I'm just going to do some no wipe top coat. This is my favourite bit because this is when you see all the colours of the glitter. Oh, that looks so nice. Lovely and sparkling. You see all the butterflies in that as well. Butterflies and stars. And I'm going to give that a 30-second cure. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I do my French ombre baby boomer, which is basically this nail here. So I get asked about this all the time because it is a bit tricky, but this is my fail-safe way of doing it. So I've got a tissue because you're going to need to wipe your brush off a lot, an ombre brush, which basically has sort of half the fibres. It's like it's been sort of like semi sort of cut out, so it's really good for blending. And then I've got one of these little sponges, but you could also use a makeup sponge or a kitchen sponge, but these ones are made especially for nail art and they're quite good. And then I've got a palette, and what I've got on here is I've got caramel, pastel chic, and I think this is Tainted Love. Yeah, so these are the three colours I've got there, which makes my perfect nude mix basically. And then I've got a bit of Break the Ice white. I've got an old brush here. So what I do is I just sort of mix all of these together. And I found this works as a really nice nude shade for me, but obviously you can totally customize this to your favorite nude shade, but I like my nudes to be a little bit peachy, a little bit sort of brown as well, if that makes sense. Less on the pink side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a big blob. I'm just doing this for one nail. Obviously if you've doing your whole 10 fingers, you're going to need more than what I'm going to be using. But so I'm just putting a blob there of my builder gel and mix that into my colour mix. And this works really well because it basically sort of suspends the colour in the builder gel. So not only actually you get a really nice baby boomer nail, but it also be ultra strong and hard wearing as well because of the builder gel. So that's sort of this consistency you want. You can see it on the brush. A little bit sheer is ideal, but you can sort of play around with that until you get the right mixture. Just going to give this nail a wipe and a buff, get it prepped. And I'm just going to go straight in with this and just do a thin coat. So this is also going to act as our base coat as well. And then I'm just going to cure that for 60. So using my sponge, I'm just going to dip it in a bit of Break the Ice. Knock off the excess on the palette. And just build it up from the bottom. Like so. Just going to dab that off on the tissue. The tissue is very important because you'll be using that all throughout. And you know, the basics of this is you're just building up quite a lot of layers to get the perfect blend. So that's the beginning, and I'm just going to cure that for 30. So you only need to sort of flash cure these in between because they're quite thin layers, so just 15 or 30 would do just fine just for these thin white layers. So I'm just going to build it up again. Putting a little bit more on the bottom. Wiping that off on my tissue and gently blend that top line where it meets the pink. You like little presses, we kill that for 15 again, and basically you just keep building up the layers till the bottom part is a lot whiter. Make sure you get right into the edges as well. Now I'm just gonna put some white on with my ombre brush. I'm just gonna take some white straight out of the bottle just to get that bit at the bottom really white. Just along the tip edge. Get a little cap. And then using my brush, make sure it's clean. I've got some Prep and White in a little dish, and just wipe your brush off so that it is dry. You don't want it to be wet. Make sure splay out the hairs, and then just little tiny strokes, and just pat them up. Wipe off the excess and just sort of keep feathering it up. Blends really nicely. This look is just all about getting a really natural, even blend. There we go. I'm just going to pop that in. So now going back to using our little Builder Gel polish mix up. And this is where you get the real good blend. The sheerness really helps it blend, so I'm just going to do another coat of that, but I'm only doing it at the top, going into right in the corners. Not too thick, this is kind of quite a thin coat, like so. And then using my, no, not that one, ombre brush, again make sure it's clean, and wipe it on the tissue too, the hairs are dry, and they are splaying out evenly. And then I'm going to do the same trick but with the Builder Gel going down, so just little pats. And this is how you get that really soft blend. If you want to add some more, take a little bit from the palette. And the main trick is just keep wiping your brush so that it's clean and dry and not full of product. And if you get any on the white at the very bottom, I just use my finger just to brush that off. And yeah, we just keep blending it down, so we want it to be seamless. There we go, cure that for 15. So I'm going to do the reverse now, where I'm going to add the white with some Builder Gel. So doing exactly the same basically, just filling it out. A little bit more thinner. And you want it quite sheer. So it sort of looks like this. Then just paint that on the end. And then do the exact same with my ombre brush. Clean it, give it a nice clean off. Just blend that line. If there's a bit too much, you can just take the excess off using your finger. The 15 seconds. So I'm just going to go in with some more of the Builder Gel mix. So the secret to this is just basically building up loads of layers, and that's how you get a more natural looking blend. Just get a bit of that on my brush. So you're basically blending it all the way to the bottom now. And if the bottom starts to look like a little bit less white, I just sort of wipe the very tip away with my finger, and then tip my brush again, clean it off, and then just keep blending the line basically. Okay, just going to give that a cure. And for the last coat, I like to basically dilute down my mixture even more. I'm making this like a super sheer layer. A little bit more there actually. Because this is the secret really of getting the perfect blend, is sort of making your layers more and more sheer as you go. This is just to add a little tint of colour and just to really nicely blend in that bottom bit. So all over the nail, and then again, same as before, just clean that bottom bit with my finger and blend the line with my dry ombre brush. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but this is the best way I find for doing a French ombre and it looking seamless. I'm just going to give that one a 30-second cure. Just put a little bit of cuticle oil on there. So that's how I do my French ombre baby boomer nails. You can see it looks really nice and natural, really lovely, smooth blend. Bit long-winded, but it's a lot quicker if you're doing it on all 10 nails. But you can see it looks really, really nice, and that is the best way to do it with builder gel.